Ma'am, this is T. Kushi from ITA, and my roll number is 37, and my topic for Tech Talk in English is why should we listen? So, in this presentation, we are going to know the importance of listening, why one should concentrate on listening, what are the types of listening, and all. So, let's get started. So, first of all, let us know what is listening. The process of using our eyes, ears, and mind to understand meanings and feelings is called as listening. Skill of grasping both facts and feelings to interpret the genuine content of a message. Listening is the receiver's activity in oral communication. Listener has the responsibility to be attentive and to make effort to understand the meaning of the speaker. An executive spends 9% of time in writing, 16% in reading, 30% in speaking, and 45% in listening. So, as you can see in this pie chart, one person can spend 14% for writing, 16% for speaking, 17% for reading, and he's spending 53% for listening. So, by seeing this pie chart, everybody can understand how important listening is, how much key role will it play in our day-to-day life, and all. So, from this pie chart, we are getting to know that listening is one of the most important thing everybody should have, and everybody should follow it. So steps of listening. So there are few steps for listening. First one is hearing, next interpretation, next evaluation, and then response. So as you can see in the picture, the stage one is listening, stage two is understanding, stage three is remembering, stage four is evaluating, and stage five is giving feedback. So we'll come to hearing. In hearing, the listener simply attends to the speaker to hear the message. So in hearing, there is nothing to be done, but you'll just understand or hear what the hear what the person is saying or speaker is saying. That is called as hearing. Coming to interpretation, interpretation depends on the listener's vocabulary, knowledge, experience, and so on. So in the interpretation, whatever you're listening or whatever you're hearing, you're going to interpret it. So it depends upon the speaker. How is he explaining, or how is he transferring the message, what words he's using, what vocabulary he's using. According to that, listener's interpretation will depend. Next comes the evaluation. In evaluation step, the listener decides what to do with the received information. Coming to response, the response lets the speaker know whether the listener has got the message and what his or her reaction is. So these are the steps for listening. So here you can see you have a few more important steps in listening, that is selecting, attending, understanding, remembering, and then responding. In selecting, sorting through various sounds and deciding what sounds to pay attention to. In attending, to focus on a particular sound or message, we are more likely to attend to messages that are about us, humor, new ideas, real or concrete things. Then comes understanding, assigning meaning to messages, assigning a familiar pattern based on knowledge, experience, senses, etc. Next comes the remembering, ability to recall information, tend to remember what is important to us. Next comes the responding part, verbal and non-verbal process to confirm understanding. So, listening is a positive and intellectual activity which involves not only understanding the content of the message but also the feeling of the speaker. The tone of voice, gestures, expressions, and even silence have meaning. So, understanding the feeling is called empathetic or active listening. You have to train yourself to be a good listener. So what is the importance of listening? Why one should listen to people? What is the importance of listening? So interaction with others depends for success on your ability to listen. Skilled and sympathetic listening is the effective tool in working with people. Unless instructions are carefully listened to, understood, and remembered, one cannot carry out the assigned work perfectly. So, why is it important? Because if you're not listening, if you're not paying attention to the speaker, you cannot perform an activity perfectly. Because you're not, while the speaker was telling, you were not concentrating, so you don't know what to do. So, the output will not be so good. So, it is very important for listening so that our output will be effective. Inefficient listening affects interpersonal relations as well as decision making and employee relations. Many of the objectives of downward communication, such as motivation and raising morale, can be achieved by listening attentively rather than talking. In conferences, committees, and group discussions, listening is very important for every member of the group. Socially, good listening improves conversation and social relations. Listening and remembering what you have heard is very, very important. So, skilled listening helps in finding out more information, learning about people and their mind, raising morale, obtaining suggestions and new ideas, discovering why employees perform as they do, and helps in problem solving. Coming to types of listening, as already told, we have many types of listening, and these are the few of them. Passive listening, attentive listening, active or empathetic listening, discriminative listening, and selective listening. So we'll look into each of them separately and in a detailed manner. So coming to first, passive listening. Passive listening is hearing what a person says without responding to them in any way. The person listening does not show any reaction to what they have heard. So this is called as passive listening. Coming to attentive listening occurs when one is genuinely interested in the speaker's point of view. So coming to attentive listening, when it is called as attentive listening is that, so when the speaker is saying something, when you're really concerned, really interested in knowing his point of view, that time it is called as attentive listening. Coming to active listening show the speaker that you are concerned. Active listening leads to getting better information. So active listening requires definite intent to listen, focus on the speaker, verbal and non-verbal encourages, feedback loop to ensure accuracy. What are the importance of active listening? Shows the speaker that you're concerned, leads in getting better information, encourages further communication, potential to enhance relationships, better cooperation and problem solving, minimizes the misunderstandings, helps in negotiation skills and helps you to stand out, avoid communication errors, and these all points are the main thing you need to get successful in your life. So active listening is a key to success. First, then comes discriminative listening. It involves in identifying the difference between various sounds. It also enables one to differentiate familiar and unfamiliar language. So as you know, discriminating means showing partiality. So whatever is needed, we'll listen. Otherwise, we'll differentiate it. So showing partiality is nothing but known as discriminative. Next is selective listening. It involves in selecting the desired part of the message and ignoring the undesired part of the message. So coming to selective listening, we'll only listen the part which is required for us. Rest of the part which is undesired to us, which is not required to us, we are leaving it. Only the part which is required, which we need, only that we are listening. So that is known as selective listening. So as you all know, people think that listening and hearing are both same, but there is a difference between listening and hearing. Let us know. So coming to hearing, sense that allows you to perceive sound. Physical act only requires reception of sound waves. So hearing is just a physical act. It is not related to the mental act. It is nothing but just you are perceiving the sound. That's it. It is just a physical act. Coming to listening, it is mental process that requires concentrating on sound, deriving meaning from it, and reacting to it. So coming to listening, it is a mental act. So when you are listening, you have to concentrate on it, and you have to derive the meaning from it. What is the speaker telling? What is happening? And you have to react back to it. That means you have to give feedback after listening. So the two main differences of hearing and listening is that hearing is a physical process, whereas listening is a mental process. So what are the barriers and benefits of effective listening? First, we'll look out the barriers: over or underreaching, stereotyped reactions, taking the spotlight, unsuitable responses, pretend comprehensive, impact nonverbal cues, complex responses, physical and cultural defaults. These are some of the barriers of listening. What are the benefits of effective listening? That means everybody is saying you have to listen effectively, but what are the benefits? What are the advantages of listening effectively? Let us know some of them. It enhances productivity, improves relations, avoids conflict, improves understanding, improves negotiation skills, helps you stand out, and people will appreciate it. So coming to traits of good listeners. So in a whole this presentation we are learning about how important listening is. So let us know the traits of good listener. So in listening, L stands for look interested, get interested. I stands for involve yourself by responding. S stands for stay on target. T stands for test your understanding. E stands for evaluate the message, and N stands for neutralize your feelings. So I think in the abbreviation of listen, you can get the whole meaning of listening. Why is it important to listen? Only in this one abbreviation, you can understand everything. So what are the features of listening? Listening is a mental activity, as told already. It improves concentration and consciousness. Non-verbal communication also helps in listening. Listening stimulates speaking. Listen involves paying close attention to the sounds that come in a way of communication. Techniques of listening skills. You have to focus on key points, be aware on both verbal and non-verbal messages, listen with open mind, avoid false attention and pretending to listen, wait for the speaker to pause to clarify your questions, be attentive but relaxed. So these are some of the techniques of listening. Listening pitfalls. So what are the pitfalls of listening? Let us know some of them. Appearance and delivery, separating ideas from facts, interrupting, distraction, pretending, and sarcasm. So if you come over all these things, you can listen properly. You can listen in a concentrated way. So you have to be a whole body listener. The brain should be thinking, the ear should be hearing, shoulders should be facing properly. You have to look into the speaker's eyes, hands should be still, your feet should be calm, and mouth should be quiet. So this is while listening, you have to be a whole body listener, as you can see in the picture. So what are the rules of good listening? You have to stop talking, stop thinking, remove distractions, do not let your mind wander, do not prejudge, be patient, empathize with the speaker. So while somebody is speaking, you have to not get diverted, you have to not get distracted. And before the speaker is starting, you have to not prejudge that this is not correct, I cannot understand him. So you have to not prejudge him, you have to be patient, and you have to empathize with the speaker. So coming to the conclusion, most people spend at least half their communication time listening. This most used communication skill is not only crucial in interpersonal communication, but it also affects organizational communication and helps determine success in education and in careers. So business writer Ken Murphy says, the better you listen, the luckier you will get. So take some time to listen, and listening is a very important thing in your life, and you have to listen in a concentrated way to perform anything in a perfect way and to get successful in your life. And thank you for giving me this opportunity to share my point of view on listening. Thank you, everyone.